Hey guys, welcome to the corporate office of gotbackup. Now everybody wants to know, are we super secure and how do we offer such an amazing service at such a low price? So this is in our tech room, and what we're going to do is we're going to take you on a tour of our server room to show you just how secure it is, and we welcome you into the family. So let's go over to the server room. So the first thing I want to explain to you guys is that we're fully PCI compliant. For physical PCI compliance, what does that mean? It means we're allowed to physically store credit cards in our data center because we're uber secure. So we've passed all the tests for that, and we're legally allowed to store credit cards and your storage. So one of the first requirements for PCI compliance is you have to have 2 coded doors before you get into your server room. We also, as a company, like to have fun, so we call it Area 51. So anyway, I'm going to code this door with my back here so you guys can't see what the code is. Come in this way. This is a simple inventory room, guys. We build servers here and so forth. And then our second coded door is over here, okay? And so we have a coded door here as well to get into the server room. So here we are in the server room, guys. This is where all the magic happens. So a couple of things people ask. Joel, how secure is my data, and could you ever lose our data? So as an example, let's come here. It's impossible to lose your data, and here's why. If you look at this storage array, and we have, hundreds of storage arrays in here, there's 14 hard drives across this storage array. 4 of these hard drives could fail, which statistically never happens, but let's say it did. 4 of these hard drives need to fail before we start to lose some data. But guess what? We're not going to lose any data because this is striped to here. This whole rack of hard drives here is copied here. Just the same here. All these hard drives here are copied here. So there's not a single point of failure relative to your data. There's also no single point of failure in the server room. As an example, there's A power and B power. Every server is plugged into A power. Every server is plugged into B power. Also, relative to cooling of this room, if you come over here, you'll see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 air conditioners in this server room. So the air is never going to be a problem. The other thing as well is we're very, very efficient. If you look up at the ceiling, let's come back over here, you'll see vents up there, and the cold air is strategically placed in front of the servers here, so it sucks in all the cold air, and it goes over into the hot aisle behind this wall here. So very, very efficient server room as well. And finally, if God forbid there was ever a fire in this room, we have here what's called a fire suppression system. What this system does, it's just a bunch of electronics behind here, but we can open it up, okay, is if God forbid there was a fire, and in 25 years there's never been a fire, but it will snuff out all the oxygen in this room. If there's no oxygen, then the fire goes out, right? So we don't use water to destroy the equipment. So that's the basics of the server room. Super, super secure and super redundant relative to your data. So the other aspect to security is we use the exact same security as Amazon, as Google, as all the big players, Microsoft. It's patented security. It's military grade, 256-bit encryption security. So your stuff is very secure. So let's come out of the server room for now. And I also want to explain, if God forbid a bomb dropped on this building, a hurricane came in, whatever, a flood, which statistically is impossible, but if it did happen, we also back up all of your cloud data to a third-party data center just in case something ever happened to this building. And again, it's never happened, but you just never know, right? So I'll also take you on a tour of the rest of our office here. So if you want to, that's all really is what's important relative to gotbackup. But I just want to take you on a tour of the rest of the office. Now over here, you're going to see a private gym. But I want you guys to understand this private gym area was also supposed to be server space. But it didn't need to be, because over the years, as technology grows, the power in each server grows. So as an example, we started 20 years ago. One server was a block server like this big, and one server that's like 1 inch tall like this big is probably collectively from 20 years ago 10,000 times more powerful. So you can add more and more and more per server because they just keep getting more and more powerful. So when we recognize that, we cut off our server room over there. Why? More efficiency. More efficiency, lower overhead means more commissions into your pocket. So we created a private gym here because we do a lot in the health and wellness, and I'm also a big believer in healthy body, healthy mind. Now, if you ever have to convert this over to server space, but keep in mind, just in that small server room there, because the servers get more and more powerful, we could easily, and I mean easily, scale to 1 million users. That's not a problem. Over here is our staff lobby and our staff kitchen. By the way, our home is your home. If you ever want to come by and see us, you certainly can. Over here is our lobby. We have a turtle aquarium. I love turtles. The side note that people's like, Joel, turtles? Like, really? Why what do you want turtles for? When I was a kid, I was allergic to every single thing with fur. Thankfully, I outgrew that because I do love animals, but back then I started to fall in love with turtles. And then like 12 years ago, my daughter said, hey, Daddy, can I have a turtle for my birthday? And it brought back all the fond memories I had as a kid. You know, I used to have turtle pools in my backyard, so we built an 800-gallon turtle aquarium here in the office. This is simply the lobby where you come in through the front door. And then just coming back over to our tech room over here, we'll bring it back this way. And here we are back in our tech room. And that basically concludes the tour. But as you can see, very secure server room, very low overhead. This office is just under 10,000 square feet, which is perfect. The bigger the office, the more the overhead, the less we can pay you in commissions. So because we run very lean, that's exactly why we can afford to pay out 75% commissions back to you in this very secure cloud storage data center. So I look forward to working with you as a gotbackup member. Have an awesome day.